Well, it finally warmed up a little bit, enough for me to come out and do this. It's been snowing and icing and snowing and icing the past couple week or two, and I disconnected. Preface by saying the 87 has the manual locking hubs for the four-wheel drive. So I went driving the other day and I unlocked the hubs, or so I thought, and I kept hearing like a whirling, scraping noise, and I couldn't quite figure it out. And they're still locked, and just to get them unlocked, I've had to use pliers and vice grips. So what I think is happening is this, when I undo it, is getting all jammed up in here because a month or two ago, I kind of sunk the truck in a creek bed, and the water was up to here for about 24 hours. I actually had to leave it. I messed it up so bad. Messed up a lot of stuff, to be honest with you. Yes, I know I'm missing a lug nut. I'm not sure what happened. I'm going to have to get another one. But I think what had happened is, after all that, water got into here, and the grease isn't, the bearing grease that I use is no longer in there, so it's jamming up, which means that hub, it stays, even though it's in the free position, it's staying locked, which means that when I free this one, the other axle is still locked up, and so this one's occasionally turning in the hub, which is what I'm hearing on this side. So today I'm going to try to fix that by taking this apart and seeing exactly what got messed up. Hopefully it's just grease. If not, all the parts for this are really cheap. Now when I say it's warm out, it's only like 36 to 38. But what you're gonna want to do is get all of these bolts off, and I can't get it to unlock, so I'm gonna have to fiddle with it while it's still pushed in. So if these should be all 10 millimeters if you're doing a Toyota. Or let's see what we got. Yeah, this is not what it's supposed to look like, but I don't know. I would suggest wearing gloves, by the way, because this is a really dirty job. There's actually rocks in here, which is kind of surprising. But I would say, based on what I'm looking at right here, that the hub was not disengaging like it was supposed to. What I'm seeing is a bunch of stuff that got in there that wasn't supposed to get in there. Nothing broke, but it definitely was pretty locked up in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some brake cleaner and really clean it out. And for some reason, I've got frozen grease. So I think water got in there or something weird and froze. But I've got stuff that shouldn't be in there. So go ahead and get some paper towels and clean it up. Alright, got some paper towels and some brake cleaner, and I'm just going to completely clean it out. This is actually exactly what you would do to service these anyways, so I guess it was inevitable. Again, you're just trying to do your best to get all this stuff out, or at least that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be able to get everything out. I'm going to try. I'm going to do the same thing with that. Now, how this works is that there is a groove, and it sort of like does like a ramp. And that and then there's going to be a spring, but to easily show you guys, it goes through this groove, and when you turn it, it brings it in. And that would be the free. So when you push it back out, the spring pushes it, and then it locks it with this housing against the hub, and that's what makes it lock up in the front. Mine was stuck all the way in the out position, so it was stuck in the locked. But nothing broke, so it just needed some grease to clean out and put it back together. And for this, I'm gonna go do that inside, because it's really cold out here. My fingers are numb, and it's kind of hard to, you gotta separate the clip and put it back together, and my fingers are numb, so I'm gonna go back in and do this inside, and then come back out and just put it in. I had some technical difficulties and fiddled around with it, make sure I could get it right together. And so basically, I'll run through it for you guys real quick. It's really easy. This part, I would suggest having it in the free position. And then you've got this spring, which doesn't secure itself. I thought it did for some reason, but it doesn't. It just sits on top of here. And I don't have the best zoom on this camera, but this spring threads inside of a groove here. What you want to do first is this part is separate, and this spring has to sit on top of these little tangs. So, and there's two of them. There is one over here, and there is one across from it. And then you take that and you thread it into the groove on the back, and that's what connects this. This spring sets on top of here, like that. Alright, and then on this part right here, you've got these grooves. So then you've got these grooves, and you've got these sort of look like that, and they grip the inside. And the reason you want to have it locked is you're going to want to line this piece up with that groove, and you're going to push it together all the way down, and then you're going to slide it all the way, and then it's going to hold it together. And that's why you want it in the free position. It also makes it easier to put back in the hub assembly. This in the past is you don't want to just goop it up, and so what I usually do is use some high temp axle grease. You really don't need a whole lot. The idea is you want it to slide in and out pretty free. So anywhere where it slides, go ahead and put some of this grease on there. I don't have a gasket anymore. The truck's 30 years old. It had a gasket, and I could make one for it, but it doesn't really get stuck in water holes that often, and that's probably what happened here. I guess you could put some on the inside as well. This is something as a maintenance item. I usually do this once a year. Sometimes I'm not good about it, but this truck does go off-road. Just a light amount of grease. And then you're going to see that there's grooves, and you're going to go ahead and line them up with the holes and the grooves. Alright, and there you go. And now all you got to do is take the bolts, thread them back in, and tighten them back up. Now what I like to do is to make sure that this does what it's supposed to do. And I am being a little bit careful just to make sure that the grease does what it's supposed to do. And it moves a lot freer. And now that it does, I'm going to go ahead and snug them up. You want to go in a star pattern, and these don't need to be super tight. I think I read somewhere that these are like 7 foot-pounds, if that. So I just kind of, I go snug. I don't over torque them. Plus, without that gasket there, that takes up some space. Now, the reason I did all of this is this thing gets out on the highway, and I can't take it on the highway because you're not supposed to drive with the hubs locked over like 45. So I can drive it around town and stuff, but if I want to drive it to school and warm it up because it's been so cold and not do short trips with it, I had to fix it. So if it is locked in though, it's not a big deal. You can just leave it locked in if you're not going to do anything over 45. But anyways, so yeah, hopefully that repair works. Nothing's broken. It just water got in there probably or something like that, and then locked it up and it got stuck. So hopefully it works. I can take it on the highway and a bath because salt is not good. Thanks for stopping by, and have a nice day.